Jai Sitaram, Jai Jai Hanuman. Good afternoon, patrons. Welcome to Storytime. I want to share a story about Hanuman, the monkey god, the devotee of Lord Ram. And this story comes at the end of the epic tale of the Ramayana. Some of you might know the Ramayana and some of you might not. To very, very, very capsulize it, it's the story of God and goddess on earth as human beings, fighting evil, fighting the forces of ruin and the forces of ignorance. So as Vishnu came down to earth as Rama, Shiva up on Kailash wanted to come to earth and help him. And so he took the form of Hanuman, a very powerful and very beautiful and wonderful monkey. So through the entire story of the Ramayana, Hanuman is always there to help Rama in his mission and to help Sita. And finally, when Sita and Rama become separated by the forces of darkness, by the evil Ravana, it's Hanuman who, with his intelligence and his devotion and his powerful strength, finally creates the situation that they can be reunited. So anyway, after the Great War, Rama, his brothers, and his beloved Sita, along with Hanuman, go back to Ayodhya, where Rama is coronated as king. It's a big, big, amazing celebration. In fact, all the monkeys are there. All the bears, all the warriors. Bibhishan, who is Ravana's blessed brother, is there. And all the people of Ayodhya and all the people of the kingdom of Videha, where Sita came from. It's an incredible party. At one point, Sita, the divine mother of the universe, the creatress of all, she calls Hanuman over. She's sitting in her throne, and she says, and Hanuman comes to her and says, "You called me Mother Sita." And Sita says to him, "Hanuman, my dear, dear friend, the debt that I owe you, the debt that we owe you, could never, ever be repaid. The world would not be in existence now if not for your love and your devotion and your service. What can I give you? There's nothing I could give you." By the way, Rama had the same conversation with Hanuman earlier, and Hanuman said, "The only thing I want is devotion to your feet." Now, he could have asked for the entire universe, but he said, "All I want is devotion." Okay, back to the conversation with Sita. So she says, "But as a token of my love and as a token of my gratitude, I want you to have this necklace." And she takes this necklace off of her head, and it's raw pearls from the deepest oceans, shining like the moon. Each bead is like a full moon night in July. And she puts the necklace on Hanuman's head and again says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." So Hanuman, bows to her, and he steps back, and he starts looking at the beads. He's a little bit perplexed. He looks through one, through the other. And then strangely enough, he takes one of the beads and bites it with his big monkey teeth. Cracks it open, then looks at it again, spits it out. Does that to another bead. And he has this quizzical expression on his face. So one of the men from the palace, one of the advisors, comes up to him and says, "Hanuman, what are you doing? Mother Sita just gave you this beautiful, beautiful necklace from her very own neck and put it on over your head onto yours. Why are you biting these beads and spitting them out?" And Hanuman, he was very guileless. Although we remember from his time with Ravana that he could be the most incredibly tricky diplomat in the world. But in his normal self, he was without guile. And he turns to the man and he says, you know, all I care about in this life are Rama and Sita. And I'm looking at these beads, and yes, it was beautiful that Mother gave them to me, but I don't see Rama or Sita inside of the beads. So I'll keep looking, but if I can't find them, it doesn't mean they don't mean anything to me. So the man got very irate, and he said, you ignorant monkey, how can you do this? You know, Rama and Sita don't live in your body either. You're just muscle, bone, sinew, just like the rest of us. Why don't you just tear up your own body if it means nothing to you? And Hanuman looked at him, and then his gaze turned inward, and he extended his claws and dug deeply into the fur of his chest and parted it open. And you know, at first all you could see was blood streaming out. But then it became clear that sitting on a throne in his heart were Rama and Sita. The man from the palace fell down at his feet and he said, forgive me my arrogance, forgive me my arrogance. And Hanuman, just with his hands, closed up the wound and healed his own body and moved on to the next phase. And there's statues and pictures all over India of this aspect of Hanuman ripping his heart open. And one of Maharaji's temples, the one in Lucknow, has this very image of Hanuman, and it's called the wish-fulfilling Hanuman. And people go there from all over India and really from all over the world and ask for a wish, and they say that the wishes are all granted. I once actually, I was in Lucknow and I stayed in a little guest room in that very temple underneath Hanuman's feet. It was really amazing. It was like a little cave room. And, you know, the ceiling was where Hanuman's feet were. And every morning, very early, I'd wake up and I'd go up to the temple room. And the pujari was a young guy who had a great story, which I'll tell you in a sec. He would get up in the morning and go to Hanuman, and before any prayers, before any incense, before any candles, he would say, "Good morning, Hanumanji," like they were the best of friends. Now this pujari means priest, happened to be a village boy from Vrindavan, very uneducated. He didn't know Sanskrit. He didn't know the Vedas. He was not a Brahmin. He was just a guy, and somehow or another Maharaji really liked him, and he chose him to be the priest at the Hanuman temple in Lucknow. But all the learned elders around Maharaji objected because he didn't speak Sanskrit. He didn't have any of the requisite training to be a proper priest. And Maharaji pulled him over, tapped him on the head, and then he said to the elders, "Ask him any verse of the Bhagavad Gita." And they would ask him verse this or that, and he just recited it with beautiful enunciation and clarity and musicality. And then Maharaji said for them to ask him verses of other sacred texts, and he knew them all, and he hadn't known them at all until Maharaji tapped him on his head. So he was the pujari there, and we became friendly, and I was actually staying in Lucknow to try to renew my visa, which is a whole nother story. And finally I was in the visa office, and all these armed guards came behind me and in front of me with their rifles, and the consulate guy would say, "You got to get out of India within 4 days." And I was trying to object, but then I saw all the guns. So that's when I left India for the first time. Oh, we'll try to do this 1,000 times a day, or just remember it. I forget all the time, but then every once in a while I remember. Jai Sitaram, Jai Jai Hanuman.